But the thing is, my clients are a little bit different to everyone else's. This is what people always say to us as we start to learn around their business and around their clients. And I guess this video today is to kind of show you that actually your clients think a lot like lots of other businesses. And there's things that we can all take from this and learn so that we can improve our websites and improve the conversion rate too. One of the things that I thought would be particularly beneficial for this video is just to show you an example of a site and talk you through the mentality of what went into this. Now, the site I'm actually going to show you is for an adventure holiday company. It's actually one of our older sites that we've done, but it continues to work really, really well because it answers so many of their potential clients' concerns and questions. And the more that we can visually or verbally answer on a website, the more likely someone is to convert. And that's what we really want to get across. But we can only really get that across if we do this background research to really understand the client. Now, understanding the client isn't easy. We need to have a lot of understanding of how they're going to approach things. What is that inner monologue that is going through our own heads as we're looking at something? And just while I'm thinking about it, I might quickly load up a random website, white t-shirt. So to really get this point across, I thought we could all go t-shirt shopping together. And this is because it's a nice, simple, easy thing. Everyone will own one. But one of the things that we need to consider is what are the kind of inner monologue? What are the questions that are going on in my head when I might be making this purchase? And I'm purposely using something super simple to show you how many things there are still to think about, right? So if I land on here, this is what most e-commerce stores will do, is they will obviously tell you the price because one concern in my own head, one of these objections in my head is, well, can I afford it? So therefore I can see these are associated here. Another concern might be, is it going to fit me? So normal sites will at least give you some sizings. And then if they're particularly good, they might have a size guide in there, right? Now, another question might be like, okay, well, what sort of material is it made from? So let's have a quick look on here. It doesn't actually, oh, it references it down here, materials. So it just references it's cotton. I guess these are quite nice. These have started to become far more popular now from an e-commerce point of view, but like, how is it going to fit? And actually it's because I'm really large or I'm really muscular or I'm really skinny or I'm somewhere in the middle or I'm particularly short or particularly tall. I need to have an understanding of how that's going to work on me. Description and fit, again, not a lot on here, but at least it goes into a little bit of detail on all of these individual elements. But it could also be down to, okay, well, oh, do you remember that last time when I bought that t-shirt and it was hand wash only in the end? And that was really, really annoying. So being able to look for a care guide is also really beneficial, making sure I can understand if it can go in the tumble dryer. Can it go in at 30 or 40 when it goes in the wash? These actually become really, really important. Now you can also start to think about other things that actually I'm not buying this t-shirt for me. I'm going to buy this t-shirt for a friend. So is it gift worthy? Or, I'm going to wear this in the gym. So is this gym t-shirt going to wick sweat away or is it going to show sweat patches? Those sort of things become really important. Or even just, is the quality of the imagery and the photography good enough to give me an indication of what that t-shirt is going to look like on me? One of the times you'll also get is like a lot of photography is just shown on its own with no one wearing it. And it's a lot harder to see how that's going to fall, how it's going to fit, how it's going to cling to me in different places. I'm probably getting a little bit too excited and involved in just talking about t-shirts now. But the idea is that you can really start to see the level of detail, the level of thought that can go into something as simple as a t-shirt. Now, if we now take this and apply this to your own business, and obviously I have no idea what you guys do, but this can be a service business, it can be e-commerce, it could be somewhere in the middle, it could be a SaaS product. It works across the board that we really need to understand what these internal monologues are. And if we can understand what they are, then we're more likely to end up converting someone to a paid user or a paid client. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of quite an old site that we've done now, but still a really, really good one called Adventure Base. Feel free to check them out if you want to try climb Mont Blanc on an adventure holiday. And the site at the start of the site stands in a very traditional manner, right? So you've got your photography of your nice days and where you're going to go, and it gives you some indication of it, and you've got these booking options, and that's fine, and these are all needed, right? But we're going to cycle past some of this information to start with. And one of the things that then starts to become really, really important is, well, who's done it before? It'd be great to get some videos of it to see what it's been like in the past, and we can start to go through some of these. Or actually, it was like, well, do I even have the right kit for this sort of holiday, right? I don't know what I need to buy. So being able to scroll down here, you can start to see these. You can download the full kit from up here as well. You can cycle through them if you wanted to. So it's like, okay, great. Can I understand if I can do that? Now, I know, for example, you can also rent all of the kit from these guys as well. So when you actually get the downloadable kit guide, it does say that everything is rentable. But this is also answering a concern for someone that they might not have the right stuff, because they might be like, well, my jacket I normally wear is really good, but I have no idea if this jacket is going to keep me warm all the way up thousands of meters into the air. So these things can become a real big major concern. Now, constant credibility building is obviously fairly standard now in kind of advertising and in marketing, but again, it doesn't hurt from having some testimonials that's in there. Now, another thing is just like, well, what actually is included? And this is one of the things that I remember we really had to convince this of, and is kind of a standard thing we end up having to convince a lot of clients of, which is it's just as important to include what's not included as it is what's included, so that there's no concerns on, okay, well, before I sign up, do I actually get the flights included, or do I get my transfers included? Because if I don't, that's another thing to think about, and I don't want that stress. But actually just highlighting to say, you know what, these things are included and these aren't, just stops that concern, because at least they can make that decision themselves. Whereas if they're just unsure, they might just go find somewhere else where they're definitely got an understanding of it. So being really crystal clear, even just with the X's, to be like, these aren't included, don't ask us about them. And that's actually what one of these things come from. And this is one thing as a first tip that I would recommend for you guys is speak to the sales staff. What questions are they constantly being asked? And they had this all the time. It's like, okay, well, we really want to sign up with you, but I don't know if the flights are included. I don't know if I'm getting my transfers. Or can you do the transfers for me? Can you set those up? This way, we just don't have to get into any of that confusion, right? It's all set there. So you just know what's happening. So please do speak to your sales staff. The other one that I would also say, if you're willing to, is I would speak to clients as well. I'd get an understanding of clients who have been with you for a long time or repeatedly purchased from you, what made them buy from you in the first place, and what's made them come back, because those are things that we should really be explaining on the site. And then the other one is, who is a brand new client who's only just started working with you, and what made them be attracted to you in the first place. It's really great to have an understanding of those, because the likelihood is we don't push those enough on our website. So those are the first couple of tips that I would really say. Now, again, kind of running through here, it's like, well, what dates are you available? And actually, what accommodation am I going to stay in? Like, I want to have an understanding of what this place is like. Is it going to be super luxurious? Is it not? Is it half board? Is it full board? And another one is like, is the internet included? So certain places, because you're obviously up a mountain, probably won't have any internet. So you do need to highlight these out to people, because these are things that will be asked. And again, I'm using this as an example, but this is obviously a far more complex purchase. And hopefully, as you're listening to this and seeing this in person, you can start to think about some of those concerns or objections that someone will have when potentially buying from you. The same thing with, oh, it'd be great for me to get a full understanding of the routes I'm going to take so I can get excited about it. Maybe I can see it on a map, or I can click through them. And again, we're trying to fill in as much concerns and detail as they possibly needed. We used to have an FAQ on here, and the FAQ became so vast that we've ended up moving this to a separate page now. But another one might even be, well, actually, I want to, I'm English or I'm Italian, so I need to make sure I'm going on this with someone who can speak my language so that I feel really safe and secure. And then one of the last ones is like, am I even physically fit enough to do this adventure? And actually, especially with adventure based, this is something they have to be really honest about. And actually, if you're not particularly in good shape, then you might need to prep on that, go into a different one. So the way we've done this section is we really highlight like, hey, these are the sort of levels, these are what you would need, moderate fitness, etc. But if you're not there and you're down here, let's push you to some trips that are more suitable for your fitness level. And this works in both ways, right? Because if you choose something that is you're going to find too hard, you're not going to enjoy it. And vice versa, if you probably pick something too easy for you, you probably won't get that same sense of achievement as well. So being able to balance this becomes a really, really key thing for this company. So hopefully you can just start to see how we really had to understand the potential user here, to really, I guess, define exactly what their concerns are, but also what they're looking for in a potential holiday as well. From this video, what I want you now to really start thinking about is, how do I apply this to my own business? What are the constant questions we always get asked? What could we get across that isn't necessarily just product related or service related, but is part of this wider kind of part? As I'd said here, is actually people wanted to know, the fitness level is really nothing to do with the service that these people are offering, right? They're selling a holiday, the trip going up there, the guide, all of the hotel, everything is included. But actually, a really big objection is nothing to do with this company at all. It's to do with, is this person physically fit enough? And going back to the t-shirt example, you could have all these things that you're answering, but actually a big concern might then for the user might be something as simple as, well, actually, I'm really interested from an environmental point of view. So how sustainable is this business overall? Are they, are they trying to do things to be green? Are they looking after their staff? Because I only want to buy from companies that are doing that. So being able to really understand your clients and their needs, even if it isn't directly related to your offering, becomes really, really important. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because if you're working with a web agency that isn't going into this level of detail before we even start the design, then there's no way that they can design something that is going to really answer those concerns and then therefore convert at a really high point. Yes, a really beautiful looking site will probably do something to your conversion rate, but really understanding the client, doing the research, immersing themselves in your business, doing a proper deep dive to really get to know you as a company, as well as who your clients are, is going to only end up as a much, much better project. And that can extend the length of a project and how long it's going to take. But those extra month or, 2 to 4 weeks it takes to do all that immersion and fully understanding of your business can make the world of difference to that conversion rate at the end. Now, apologies, I'm going to do a tiny little bit of selling to you now. When we offer, now I am going to do a little bit of selling to you now, and apologies, but my company, Strafe Creative, offer a 20% increase as a guarantee, right? From a conversion guarantee. And the reason we can do that is because we go to this level to really understand our clients and their needs and their clients as well. And because of that, we know the process we take them through. We can guarantee an increase of 20% on our conversion rates, and no more selling after this, I promise. So the first place to start, give this a go, speak to your sales staff. If you're the person doing most of the selling, in your next kind of couple of meetings that you have, write down those questions and just keep putting ticks next to them every time they're asked. And the more constant that question is asked, the more important it is to have it included on your website. And you'll start to just increase and drip feed and constantly improve that conversion rate. You don't have to have a brand new website to increase your conversion rate. It might just be redesigning certain areas or adding additional information in. And this might be something you can just do yourself. And I will say this works on everything. This works on product, this works on service, it works on SaaS companies. It doesn't really matter what it is. If you can really understand that user's kind of inner monologue and then visually answer them, you will end up with a higher conversion rate. Now, to finish, this video I do think would be quite useful, so do have a quick look at it. This particular video is all around another case study that we've done, but this one is actually more e-commerce focused, but how we massively increase the conversion rate based on a little bit of what I've spoken about today, but also the overall design. And the last thing I'll say is we're soon going to be releasing a conversion rate kind of best practice download. So if you are interested, please give a subscribe, please like, or maybe give me a comment to say when this is available, please send it me. And I promise I'll do that.